Welcome to our post-trip video. Jay and Connor Rasmussen. Connor, why don't you just tell us a little bit about the setting where we are now, and then I'll ask you a few questions about the trip.
Sure, sounds good. We're about our second day in Uruguay right now. We're in a place called El Gallup, which is outside of a town that I can't really pronounce. It's probably two hours away from the coast in Buenos Aires, and we took a ferry here from Buenos Aires 2 days ago, and that was about an hour long. Super nice. So we're just enjoying this. We're kind of on a farm right now. There's cows, horses all around. We went for like a 3-hour bike ride, which both tired us out, so kind of low energy, but we'll pick it up for you guys. So yeah, What else you got done?
Well, let's talk about the cycle trip a little bit. This will be our post-trip reflection. If you had to think about what was your most and least favorite experience out of the 70 days of the trip, what would you say?
Least favorite, I'd definitely have to say border crossings. We had a lot of those. We had like 12 or 13 of those, and that was really rough. It's just a lot of time we don't know what's going to happen. Really, we have to buy insurance, get the bikes checked, stamp out of the country that we were at before. So it's just really tiring, and we don't know what's going on half the time, and it takes somewhere between 2 and 6 hours. So whenever we have a border crossing, we usually get in pretty late to where we're staying that night. For my most favorite kind of experience, I just really like riding still a lot. We've been on a bicycle and like a 50cc scooter the last couple days, and those like just can't even touch riding like a real motorcycle, in my opinion. Just that feeling, and just being able to reflect on kind of what you've seen and what you've experienced throughout the last couple days is just really relaxing and fun for me.
What's been your biggest surprise on the trip?
Kind of how skilled I am as a motorcyclist, I'd say. And, I'm pretty good. Next question?
It won't be a question about humility, I promise that.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Okay. What do you feel you learned about yourself on the trip?
Kind of that I can do this sort of thing. I had kind of my doubts coming into this, like could I actually do this and that sort of thing, but I really fell back in love with traveling, fell back in love with experiencing different cultures and different types of food and stuff. So that I just really, I guess I kind of learned that about myself throughout this trip.
And talk a little bit about how you drive a motorcycle properly when you're in Latin America. Very different than the United States.
Yeah, the United States is who's going to hit me at any given moment. And then down here it's where can I put this motorcycle in the smallest amount of space. We did a lot of, I think we did, at one point we passed illegally for 3 straight days. We didn't have a legal pass in there. Anywhere from double yellows to around mountain turns, speeding excessively. In all of Colombia, no one can give you a traffic ticket, so we really took advantage of that and made some good time. But yeah, anywhere you can try and put a bike, you can put a bike there. Just super aggressive, and I really like riding this way. I feel a lot safer, actually, because I know that people around these parts are more used to seeing motos, so they're less likely to hit you or even come close to you.
What impact did the trip have on your Spanish ability?
It reinforced all of my greatness, which is not a lot, and reinforced all of what I need to grow and still. I took 4 years of high school Spanish, which I found out really fast wasn't enough. Super limited vocabulary, so I'm just really excited to get studying that again in more of a place where I can learn instead of just this, because this is a struggle. So yeah.
How did you see God at work on the trip?
Keeping us alive was kind of nice. I was a big fan of that. And then just different times where we would just get super lost, and then all of a sudden have someone tell us exactly the right direction, like right when we needed to. That was awesome to see him do that.
What do you feel are your strengths and your weaknesses as a motorcycle driver?
My strengths are too many to count, and my weaknesses are too few to measure. I don't know. I have really good reflexes because I'm amazing like that. I'm really fast because I'm amazing like that. I don't hit people, except for today. I hit you on a bike today, a bicycle, so that was kind of rough. But yeah, I'm pretty good. I don't know any weaknesses really. I kind of tailgate you, but that's to keep you on your feet so you kind of stay awake.
Well, speaking of how good you are, why don't you tell us about your 3 close calls on a motorcycle?
Yeah.
Mr. Greatness, by the way.
Mr. Greatness and the Invincible, right?
Yeah.
So, kind of, you almost had a near close call every day. And then my 3 really close calls were in Nicaragua, La Paz, and Lima. So Nicaragua, we were on a bridge, and it was just starting to rain. So my dad was here, I was behind him, there's a truck behind me, and then 2 cars coming this way. And this truck decides it wants to pass me on the bridge, and there just wasn't anywhere to go, so I actually got forced off the road. Kept the bike up, which is a good thing. Then outside of Lima, I had just finished climbing a mountain because my dad told me to, and that's the type of thing we did when we were bored in our spare time. So I just got finished climbing the sand dune, and I was just looking around, kind of going about 60, 65, and then just kind of the road turned. I kept going straight and hit the shoulder, and then just right before I hit the shoulder, I realized that the road was going that way. So I hit the shoulder, saw that I was about to though, so I kind of got ready, and then kind of worked my bike back on the road. If I had dumped there, I probably would have been really hurt, or possibly killed. So that was cool. That didn't happen. And then La Paz, I kind of set the bike down on the road, going like 15 miles an hour. I don't know what happened. Just kind of did.
Any future motorcycle trips in your future?
Yeah, plenty. This would probably be a summertime trip, but there's 2 in mind. One would be from Southern California to Alaska. That would be really, really fun, just to see the coast, see some friends in California, and then work my way up to Seattle again. That would just be a blast. I like that town a lot. And then just Alaska is Alaska, and that's really cool, really open, and just really beautiful. And then we're in talks about India right now. We're kind of researching motorcycles, and just how easy they are to buy, and kind of what our route would be if that's an option. So yeah, those would probably be the 2 big ones. And then obviously Minnesota is untapped beauty and greatness all over the place, so I just want to ride around there for a while.
On this trip, we used a Kawasaki KLR 650, KLR 650. Talk about that bike. How did it do for us?
It was amazing and fantastic. We did some modifications to it before we left, but once we started on the trip, it was just awesome. I think it didn't start at one time, right at the end of the day, where I had to move about like a foot to park right. So I just left it there, and it was fine. We had a mechanic come the next day and like tap on the carburetor, and then it was running like a champ. And that was in Nicaragua, and we haven't had any problems since then. We put lesser octane gas than it was supposed to take, and it took it and ran fantastically. I thought it ran better. We did extensive off-roading, sand, dirt, mud, rain. We hit snow for a quick second, and it all just kicked butt. So I was really happy with it.
How about any favorite country on the trip?
Favorite country? I really like Argentina. I think I commented today that I would retire here. Just a bunch of really classy guys hanging out. It seems cool. I really like Colombia a lot. There's a lot going on. People are just super nice. And then Mexico, obviously, is just so diverse and so much going on all over the place. It'd be really fun to travel there extensively.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Connor.
Yeah, totally. All right, so we're here today with Dr. Jay Rasmussen, post-motorcycle trip. He's still alive, still kicking it. We're going to answer some questions kind of about the trip and his experience. Does that sound good to you, Dad?
Sounds good.
All right. So just going through these questions here. Spent a lot of time planning these guys out, so it's going to be a good time. What was it like spending 2 months on the road, with motorcycles, hostels, all of that stuff? Mm-hmm. Just talk about that.
Well, it was a long time. So it was about 70 days, so it was a little bit over 2 months. There were a lot of ups and downs, I think, on the trip. At the start, there was a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement, looking forward to different things. And then I think, the routine kind of settled in a little bit, and it was tiring. There's no doubt about it. We'd be on the go from usually about 7 in the morning till 9 or 10 at night. And each day we were typically moving, trying to find where we're going to stay for the night, getting settled in, getting motorcycles put away, all that kind of thing. So it was tiring, but it was really exciting. It was nice to have certain points that we were looking forward to, just to keep us going. Our first one was the idea of getting to the Stallrat, which is the boat we took around the Darien Gap. that was a good goal to have in mind. And then I think for both of us, Cusco was a goal, just trying to get there to see Machu Picchu, and then Iguazu Falls was a goal, and then I think Buenos Aires really was our last goal. So it helped to have those kind of endpoints in mind too. But it was it went surprisingly fast. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
All right, so you talked about some of those challenges, like it was really tiring. Kind of what main challenges did you face, do you think?
Yeah, the biggest challenge was just trying to figure out where we're going. I did most of the leading. There are days that Connor would pick it up too. We didn't have any GPS, so we were working just with maps. So it was always a challenge to find where we were going to spend the night. We stayed in hostels, hotels, sometimes with different friends. So it was always a challenge just trying to figure out where we were going. Many of the places we were in, there were no street signs. Sometimes there were no numbers on houses. Many of the places we stayed, there was no sign for. So it was just a real challenge. It involved asking a lot of questions, many people. Directions were right probably 2/3 of the time. So that was a challenge. For me too, night riding was hard, especially when we had border crossings. Our days wound up being longer, and I don't see as well at night just because I'm a little bit older. So Connor would lead typically then, and I would blindly follow. But the night riding was a little tricky. And then some of the cornering, especially slow speed corners in cities, with bikes that were maybe 600 pounds or so, that was tricky for me too. Connor was better at that for sure. So I would say those are some of the struggles.
Mm-hmm. So you talked about, when you were talking about goals, you were talking about the Stallrat, which is a boat we took around the Gap. Mm-hmm. So kind of talk about that and what your impressions were about the Stallrat.
It was a really good change of pace. We had been riding pretty much solid up to that point for, I can't remember how many days, maybe 15, 18 days, something like that. So it was nice just to get a break from the motorcycles. The Stallrat, if you followed the blog at all, was this really, really old fishing vessel. And I wound up getting seasick on it for about a day and a half during the major part of the voyage. But everything before that, where we went snorkeling and we stayed on some islands, that was all really cool. One of the best parts was just meeting some other motorcyclists that we've really become friends with, and they're actually all on the road still, all the folks that we got to know. But it was really fun to get to hear their stories, and we're following their blogs now and kind of following their trip too. So it was a great experience. I was impressed with the boat, how it operated, the food, everything. So yeah, it was good.
So we kind of were all over the place at a lot of different countries. So kind of talk about your most and least favorite places that we stayed. The hostels and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hostels were interesting. We're in right now, and as you can see, it's just a really intriguing place. I like staying in places that have character and are real different, like
like the Holiday Inn?
Yeah, Holiday Inn would be one of my favorites. No, I just like places that are smaller, have a lot of character. My favorite hostel for sure was in a place called Ollantaytambo, which is real close to Machu Picchu. It's just two kind of small cities away from Machu Picchu. And it's actually built on a ruin. So the hostel was in a ruins, and it was just an amazing place. I loved all the rock work there. You probably saw pictures of it if you followed the blog. So that was my favorite one. My least favorite one for sure was in Panama City. Panama was a country I really didn't like very much, to be honest. But in Panama City, we found this hostel, and we needed to get our wash done before we went on the boat, because the boat experience was like 5 days. We had no clean clothes. They guaranteed us they were going to have our wash done by the morning, and we had to leave early to go about 2 hours or so to where we were going to get on the Stallrat. And they guaranteed us to be ready. We got up ready to ride, and they hadn't even started the wash. So they got it going. They had problems figuring out how to work their washing machine and their dryer. So we wound up packing all our clothes in plastic bags wet, racing off to get to the Stallrat, really stressed out and pretty mad. So that was not my favorite hostel. That'd be my least favorite one for sure.
All right, so we've had a pretty wild time eating these last 70 days. Kind of talk about the highs and lows of your food experience.
Yeah. Well, we've been in Argentina for close to a week now, and we've been on the hunt for the perfect steak in Argentina. We have not encountered it yet. this business about steaks you can cut with a fork. It may be true, but we have not yet fully discovered it. So Argentina's been fun, trying to find the perfect steak. I would say the other country I enjoyed the most was Mexico, and just because of the variety of the food, the freshness of the food, all the juices, vegetables, fruits, I just could not get enough of a lot of the fresh juices in particular. So Mexico was great. My least favorite countries were Peru and Bolivia, and chicken seems to be a big part of the diet there. I would hate to be a chicken in either of those countries. Your life would be threatened. So we ate a lot of chicken. I just found the food a little bit bland, in comparison with Mexico and some other places. So those two countries, I would say, would be my least favorite. But it's been really fun to try. I like to try food that just the average person eats, and it's been really fun just to experiment and try foods. And we've been happy with what we've had for the most part.
Mm-hmm. So we got through the States in about 2 days. We rode with some family members, and then we kind of split ways in Texas and kept going south. So we haven't been in the States for like 2 months, over 2 months now, which is going to be crazy. What do you think it's going to be like to readjust to life back in that culture of America?
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to going back. I've traveled quite a bit before, and I've always said I feel like I could just keep going and just be happy. I feel like I'm ready to go back at this time now. My computer was stolen in Buenos Aires, so that's really kind of slowed me down a little bit because I like working with pictures and trying to do the blog. So I'm looking forward to replacing my computer, so that'll be good. It'd be nice to see my wife and my daughter Nina as well too. So I'm looking forward. Adjustment-wise, I don't know what it's going to hold. It's hard to say. This is a trip I've been working on for 2 years planning. And to have something end that you've invested, a couple of years worth of time in is it's going to be different. So we'll see what it's like. I've enjoyed traveling. There's many places I'd like to come back to. So I don't know. We'll just have to see what this adjustment holds.
Mm-hmm. So you've probably spent at least 2 or 3 years now traveling at separate times, traveling around, Mexico or places like this. But how has your understanding of Latin culture grown, especially this trip?
Mm-hmm. Well, we've sure seen a lot of Latin culture all the way from South Texas to Mexico to Guatemala to Nicaragua to Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, Argentina. So we've seen a lot of different things. I would say my appreciation for Latin culture is increased. It's a stereotypical comment, but people have been so nice, have been so friendly, so helpful. I think the entire trip we've only encountered 2 people that really had bad intentions. The person that stole my whole black bag with all my clothes and computer and calendars, all that. And then we had one cabbie that took off on us one time too. We were lost in a city as usual, and I had paid him a little bit of money to get us to a road that we needed to go to. Made the mistake of giving him the money first, and he just kind of took off. That was in Mexico. But other than that, people have been so nice, friendly, helpful. It's like they can tell when we're kind of lost and trying to figure out where to go. We've had many people just stop and offer directions. People want to know about our trip. They want to hear about us and where we're going. And I don't know, people have just been super friendly. So that's been great. Big differences from country to country. The Spanish in Argentina has by far been our hardest. Uruguay, same thing. It's just really pretty fast, pretty choppy Spanish, so that's been a big challenge too. Like Connor, I feel like I really recognize my limits on language. We can navigate fine. We can do all the things we need to do to live. But to carry on a deeper conversation is hard. So it's increased my desire to learn Spanish as well too. But I don't know. It's been really warm, welcoming, relaxing, slower paced. I've enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. So right before the trip, some people were kind of concerned about our safety, and whether our bikes would get stolen or we'd get hurt or whatever. So kind of talk about that. Were we in any serious life-threatening instances where I wasn't about to hit you, but something was going to get stolen or robbed or something like that?
Right. Yeah. Buenos Aires obviously was our big mistake. We just didn't watch our bags. for about a 2-minute period of time, and boom, they were just gone in a car. So other than that, no, I just didn't feel any danger, any threat at all. Border crossings were a real hassle, but they were no real danger that was involved. So we felt safe, secure, comfortable, during the entire trip.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think? We've been just going for a long time. We saw some crazy historical stuff, some amazing natural beauty stuff. But talk about your most and least favorite experiences on this trip.
Yeah, most favorite would be, and I've said this before, but just being able to spend time with my son. So about 70 days with my son, that's been a real gift. This whole trip for both of us has just been a tremendous opportunity, a real privilege, for us to be able to do this. Most people that we've encountered never can spend the time, traveling the amount that we have. We've tried to do it cheap, but that's been the best part, just to have this opportunity to travel for such an extended period of time. What was the question again?
Most and least favorite experience on the trip.
Okay. Yeah, so in addition to just the time to travel, a couple places I really liked a lot. I love Colombia as a country. Like Connor said, the people were just so friendly. It's motorcycle heaven because there's just motorcycles everywhere. Wonderful curvy roads, a lot of green, which I really missed when we were in the Altiplano and so forth. So I love Colombia. Machu Picchu was a high point. And then I would say maybe my favorite place was Iguazu Falls in kind of northern Argentina, right on the border with Brazil and Paraguay. I just really love the variety there, and we spent a lot of time there. That was a cool place. Least favorite experience for me had to be two things. One of them was getting from Lima to Machu Picchu. We did not a traditional route. We had a route where we went from sea level to 14,000 feet.
15,000 feet.
15,000 feet in about 3 hours. We got up there and there was snow, and we got off our bikes and we could hardly stand. We had some altitude adjustment to kind of deal with. And from there, that part was actually okay. From there, the next 3 days, getting from there to the Machu Picchu was kind of one-lane road, dirt road, construction, roads closed, sleeping in less than desirable places. That was a really, really tough stretch. We had stream crossings on the cycles. It was gorgeous. It was really pretty, but it was super challenging. We kind of didn't eat a lot or drink too much for a couple days, and that was a tough stretch. The other place that I disliked was the Argentinian border. We figured we would just sail across it. We're in this, modern, sophisticated country, and so we got there at a time that everything was shut down. Most countries you have to buy insurance to travel on a motorcycle. We needed it in Argentina, and the places were shut down for 3 hours straight. And it sounded like we weren't even going to be able to buy it, because the first place we went, our license plates didn't have enough numbers, so their computer system wouldn't take it. We finally found a place that would work, and I was just super worried we weren't even going to get into the country, and we had plane tickets back, and so I'm mentally going through all this stuff. So that was just a really tough crossing for me. I thought it would be an easy one. It turned out to be maybe our hardest crossing. Probably 5.5, 6 hours, to get across that border.
Those were rough. I can concur with you. Those were super, super rough. So in 2 years you'll be 62, right? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about doing another trip kind of at that age?
I'm not sure about a 15-mile motor or bicycle ride like we just finished. I'm pretty tired from that. More tired from that than I think most days of motorcycling. But I'm game for another motorcycle trip. It's a great way to explore things. I've said this before, but you see everything, you hear everything, you smell everything, you feel everything. People want to talk to you. It's a great way just to explore. And I enjoy travel, and it's a wonderful way to do it. So as long as I have somebody to ride with, preferably my son, I can see doing it. I'm not too sure about where or when, but I love our bikes and I love riding, and so I'm game for another trip. We'll have to see if it's camping or maybe India or who knows what. So we'll just have to see.
All right. So this will be on the blog too, and then we'll probably put this on Facebook. So kind of talk about if someone hasn't seen the blog yet on a Facebook page, how would they be able to look at that?
Well, we'll put, when I put this video up, I'll try to put a link to the blog as well too. So if you'd like to follow that, we've got it broken up in kind of 3, 4, 5 day chunks, so you can see pictures of the trip, read about it a little bit more as well too. We're doing this for people that are following the trip. You know, we've got on ADV Rider, which is a blog for motorcyclists. We've had almost 2,000 hits on that site, and then we've got maybe 200 other people that are kind of following it on a regular basis. So thanks for sticking with us on this trip. It's been great to have your support through all of our ups and downs too. But we'll try to get this video kind of linked to the blog so you can look at photos as well too.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Con.
Yep. Bye.